on today's episode of The Real DJ Show.
Or whoever goes first.
Exactly.
You rock, paper, scissors for who goes first.
Exactly.
That person gives their part.
It makes all the stuff an easier pill to swallow.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
but, do I like it personally?
He's going to tell us why Rich and I are wrong for most of the episode, which is cool with me.
Hey, we're Bombshell Beauty.
And you're about to listen to The Real DJ Show. Wiki, wiki, mother...
Hey, what's up, everybody? Rich Cranston. Welcome to another episode of The Real DJ Show. Sitting to my right, and we're going to go down south with a little special guest
We do.
for this one.
We have a big hitter.
Yeah. Johnny Roach, welcome back.
What's
Welcome
up?
back. They brought you back for another show.
Thanks, man.
Great.
Appreciate you bringing me back as the co-host.
Nice.
I was about to say we're live, but we are decidedly not live. But keeping us on the air is our boy Mickey, the producer in the box. What's up, Mickey?
Mickey!
What's up? All right, so as always, we're starting the Real DJ Show with the one thing. Mickey, give me the one thing intro.
Let's go.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest.
So we have, dude, we're fanboying out. Carrie's been seeing us fanboy out a little bit today.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
April's going to be really strong. The rest of the episodes are going to suck after all the content dries out.
Yeah, we're starting strong, and then we're gonna have to make it up good. But we're fanboying out today because our guest is DJ Joe Bunn. Joe, what's up, man?
What is up, guys? How are you?
We're good.
You look like you're in a safe deposit box. I love that.
It's
I
dope.
am.
It's really
I'm,
sick.
I'm emerging right out of a safe deposit box.
It's like the heist.
Is it the vault? No pun
It is
intended,
the
right?
vault.
No pun
It is
intended.
the vault.
It
It's
is
supposed
the
to be a
vault.
vault.
Put a pin in
I was
that. We'll
literally
talk
in the
about
vault.
We're
Yeah.
excited to
Yeah.
have Joe with us. Not only is he here for the one thing, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
We're gonna bug Joe and keep him for this whole episode. He's gonna tell us why Rich and I are wrong for most of the episode, which is cool with me. We're stoked
Won't be
about
the
that.
first time, and no problem. Won't be the last.
Yet somehow incredibly successable. I was just on your website. I'm like, damn, this is really good.
Oh,
We
shit.
appreciate
Thanks,
it,
bro.
Should I change
Thank you.
my site?
Oh,
Well,
you-
we're going to talk about
you got a
how
lot
you
to do
helped
with
us, and whether you knew it or not, way
Yep.
back when. So we'll
Good.
talk about that. But hey, before we get to the one thing and all the rest of the things we'll keep you for, Joe, give us the Reader's Digest version of the origin story, the superhero origin story of Joe Bunn.
Sure. So, born and raised in North Carolina, about an hour east of here, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina now, the capital, and I was born in a small town, eastern North Carolina, Wilson. Always loved music, was never really a musician, played the drums horribly in a cover band in high school, but my parents were music fans. Neither have any musical ability. They can't sing, they can't play anything, but they love music. So they always had music on in the house, still to this day, 76 years old. Every time I walk in their house, they got music on. And
that's
so
awesome.
it was always on in the car, it was always on in the house. And they always had all the records, And so I just picked up this love of music from them. Had an opportunity to do this teen club dance in Wilson, and took their Marantz home stereo out, blew the speakers literally right out of the soft cover that that was on the front of those old school home stereo speakers.
Wow.
Didn't have enough music to even cover the length of the gig. Played Stairway to Heaven 4 times because it was really long and it was a ballad, and the girls could get really close to the guys on that song. A kid tripped over the power cord.
Oh my
But
gosh.
eventually I kept doing those teen club events and the stuff for my parents. And eventually the one other DJ in town heard about me, and he said, I'm getting out of the business and I'm going to become a golf pro. Would you like to buy my gear and my contracts? And he had like a few contracts pending. And I was like, absolutely, man. And so I bought this raggedy trailer. I don't even think I could drive yet. My parents would pull it around to these different gigs and then come back and pick me up. And so shout out to my mom and dad for supporting me.
Thanks, guys.
And then, took it to college and started doing fraternity parties. I would start at 2 a.m. and play to 6 a.m. when the bars closed. Every fraternity there wanted me, and I was, making great money. And luckily my parents were paying for my education. So I was just thought I was rich, and I wish I'd saved some of that money, to be honest with you. And then I got out of school and thought it was over. I was like, oh, that was a fun run. What a ride. And went into some other entrepreneurial endeavors that just didn't pan out. But still was kind of playing in these bars and nightclubs down at the beach, about 2 hours east of here. And eventually moved here to Raleigh about 20 some years ago and realized like, man, nothing's working. You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of throwing all this stuff out in the wind, like stick to what you know. And that's how Bun DJ Company started. I kind of hit up a couple of guys I knew that were playing. I was like, look, can you give me 2 years to try and build this thing? Like, can you take the shows that I can't do? And 2 guys became 6 and then 10 and then 16 and then 5 other offices in 5 different, states across the country. And it kind of grew from there.
Love hearing that story.
I feel like I could tell that story because I've watched I Am Joe, DJ Joe Bun 1,000 times in my life. I feel like I wanted to jump in. I've seen the picture of that trailer.
Of course.
And that
that trailer. Yes. Hand painted, homemade.
Yeah.
I feel like that story, though,
that.
It needs your 2 boys at the beginning of the video saying, get it, daddy.
Yes, it does, man. And they're like grown now. Like that's how old that video is. Like they're 16 and 13 now.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time is flying.
Yeah, I feel old, man.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Time is flying, man.
All right,
Crazy,
Joe, thank you for the origin story, but we're going to have you give us the one thing. So there's got to be a million things, but what's the one thing? I got to say it. It's the name of the segment.
The one thing is marketing. The one thing is marketing. I mean, you just spoke about it. You just proved my point on the one thing, during the one thing, about the one thing.
Yeah, man.
You know me from either seeing me speak or really from these videos that I put out, and I made the connections with a young couple that were doing videography. And I said, look, don't you want to shoot something besides a wedding? Like, let's make something cool. Like, before I get too old, I want to tell my story in this video format. And in today's standards, it's probably too long. I think it's about 6 minutes long, the one that you're referring to, and it's probably 6 or 7 years old now. And I still show it every time I speak at a university. I show that video. But the power of the videos and marketing is so imperative, or it was so pivotal in the success of the company. And I'll take branding and lump it in with marketing, because I remember even when we changed our logo to the play button that it is now, which isn't super unique, but I remember our business exploded. I'll even parlay having an office space into marketing, because when we opened our first office space, which in Raleigh, everybody was still working out of their homes, whether they were a cake maker or a wedding planner. And we opened an office, people were like, whoa. And when I saw those 2 huge jumps in business, I can directly attribute it to rebrand and that office space, which again, to me, still can be parlayed in or lumped in with marketing. Everything I think that I've done successfully was based on successful marketing.
Well, you've nailed it, because a lot of your work is,
it's the Bible. I mean, for DJs that give a damn, we grabbed our videographer buddy and said, hey, we got to do this.
Can you make this?
Yeah.
Right.
And ours ended up being like 16 minutes long, because we were driving around our town trying to like drive by our, our
old haunts and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Like where y'all came up. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And as DJs, we all have that story, but and story marketing is so powerful now. I mean, think about the ads that you really love on TV and things like that. They're all about somebody's story or their bio. And so if you can, find the person to shoot that, and you can go back and find that that lost footage on your VHS camera from that frat party in 93, or an old picture, that can go in with this story. Like, it is so powerful. And man, I still, again, like I said, I love that video to this day. I still play it every time I speak, where people really don't know who I am.
Well, one of the things I'd love to say about Joe Bun is, your humility is palpable. Like, you have all these outlets, you're all across the country, and it's not showboating. It's not like, hey, look how big I am. It's just, this is me.
Podcast. We appreciate it.
This is the second time that he's shown up for something that we've done. I appreciate that.
Yep.
And it's
I got the email, and I'm like, man, anytime I can be out there and just speak or help people, regardless of what the platform is, Clubhouse, Twitch, podcasts, that other DJs are doing or other wedding vendors are doing, I'm like, I'm in.
I love it because
Like,
we really believe in the industry and helping our brother sister DJs out, and we know you do too. So
well, that's a great segue.
Yeah,
fantastic segue. Like, almost like we planned it, because normally this is where we'd let our visiting DJ go, but Joe has graciously agreed to stay on for a couple more segments. So really, the core conversation for this episode was about mentoring. It's the name. We haven't come up with a creative title for the title screen yet, but it's going to be about mentoring. Sure. And I'll tell you my social story about that is, I mean, for us in 2012, we thought we were the shit. I mean, and maybe we were, but we had 5 or 6 units, and really in our town we're kind of the big fish. And we've been going to Mobile Beat for years from that, but look. We always felt like you had to sift through it a little bit, the content. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Some of it it's hit or miss. I mean, you had the guys that are making you dance at the table and breaking out props, and we'd walk out of those seminars and go see what Pioneer was doing. But I remember specifically it was 2012 where there was 2 seminars that were like the freaking light switch. Yeah, it was Weldon's and Joe's. Yep. And we're
Weldon.
Yeah, we were like, holy shit.
I remember sitting in that room with Weldon, and we were there until 9, 10 o'clock.
We left
talking about lighting.
We sat in that room, that poor we kept him in that room talking about every question we had for him. But Joe's seminar too, I remember being in that and like, holy shit, this is the guy. Like, this guy.
Gets it.
He does. And so for us, we knew at that moment that we needed to take on a mentor, like someone to tell us, how to not hit those same pitfalls that these guys have done, these more established companies. We got to pull out of them, what those things were. And so for us, that was the game changer. So thank you, whether you knew it or not, in 2012, you're the game changer for us. But
and the funny thing is, real quick, you mentioned about our website, and you're like, I think your words were, "Holy, these guys are a big deal," or something like that. But you, along with a lot of other people, had a indirect role, to that, and you've touched a lot of people's lives. So,
well, I mean, finding these people that either you emulate or you take on as a mentor is the warp speed, right?
Yeah.
It's how to jump.
It's the fast lane.
Right.
Sure.
So we'd love to know, Joe, I mean, you've been mentoring, through your seminars and appearances, and, we follow you and your videos. I mean, you're famous for the videos. I mean, Nikki, the crazy nightmare DJ, I think was the first one I ever saw. Yes. Smoke break guy. But of all the mentoring you've done, did you have mentors? I mean, there was a DJ in town, but did you have mentors to help you grow to where you're at?
Man, I would definitely say so. Indirectly, I guess, kind of like you guys are saying, whether, you bookmark somebody's website you like, or you reach out and physically hire somebody. I mean, I know Mike Walter came to Raleigh probably 12 years ago and sat through like a DJ training. And, our guys, again, couldn't be any more opposite than Mike, where they'll get out from behind the booth and they'll teach the cha-cha slide and so on and so forth. And like, we went through this whole training and he was like, kind of like, is that it? And I'm like, that's kind of what we do down here, man. Like, that's, even now I would still say like, yeah, man, as long as they're like a good MC and a good DJ, like I'm happy, and the clients are happy. But yeah, I mean, I would put Mike on that list. I would put any of those kind of OG guys that used to speak at the conferences way before I spoke at anything.
Right.
Your Randy Bartlett's, your Peter Marys, Todd Mitchum, like those guys were, when I would go to conferences, I would be like, okay, I can connect with this guy. And then again, just like you were saying, you'll go to a DJ conference sometimes and you'll be like, what's going on here? Like, I got to get out of this room. Like, this is too either not what I do or just too 101. I've been doing this too long. So it's all about patience at the DJ conferences. But I don't go now just to go in there and flex. I literally am sitting in the back like, oh damn, let me write that down. Like, if you're not still learning, you're missing the boat. Amen. If you think you know it all,
well, they're better though too. I mean, the conferences are better. I think they've grown. I mean,
1,000%.
Absolutely.
Man. That's not even from a production standpoint, from a caring standpoint, from a education standpoint, everything. That the conferences are increasingly better every year, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way less filtering. Or at least getting up out of the chair like, okay.
Yeah.
We're out.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't need to be here, right?
At some point, I mean, you're a successful dude. Your company is successful. I mean, just DJing, you could be, without any of this mentoring stuff or speaking, I mean, you could be down there doing your thing and making good living. And what was the light switch for you to say, I'm going to, focus on, helping others grow their businesses? What was that moment for you, or what was that thought?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, I will say this, I have spoken at all the DJ conferences and several wedding conferences locally and I guess nationally or across the country. Really never got paid a dime. Every once in a while I would have some video or thumb drive or something to sell at the end of it for $99 or whatever. And I kind of realized a couple things. Number one, there's, you're not doing it for the money, Joe. You're doing it to help. And I still believe in that. But I also realized I wasn't reaching very many people. You know what I mean? Like, how many people really go to those seminars? You know what I mean? At Mobile Beat. Like, yeah, they say there's 1,500 people there, but how many people are sitting in the room actually hearing that thing y'all heard in 2012? 250 maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that year, but let's just say there was 250 people. Well, when you put your stuff online, like the DJ's Vault, now I can reach anybody in the world. And literally we have probably 12 countries represented inside the DJ's Vault. So I was like, take everything in your brain and take all these articles you've written for John Young and take all these videos that you've made for just random YouTube channels or podcasts and put it into a format that is organized and ready for people to consume. And nobody had really done that. There's a trillion ways to learn to DJ, or some guy that made a video about marketing a DJ company on YouTube, but it's all over the place and you don't know who you're listening to. And so I tried to collate all that stuff into the DJ's Vault. And when we launched it, man, it started to just grow, and what I thought would be 200-300 people, signed up on a monthly level and paid $20-$30 a month, turned into 1,300. And we've been sitting around that number for, the past year or so. And I couldn't be
that's a big number,
more proud of it. And to be completely honest, man, that's my job now. Do I still go out and play almost every weekend? Starting this weekend, April 3rd, it kind of starts to reset. Absolutely. And I think that's why people still listen to me, because they're not like, this old head, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
He's just, he's been sitting around his office too long. Like he can't play. And it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, if I could turn my camera right now, you'd see the entire studio here is full of gear that I've been sitting here working on sound switch for the past 3 days. Like I'm in it. Like I'm the reset button is happening and I'm about to go out there and start to rock again.
I do think that is so smart. I mean, because I watch. I'm a dork for all these things, so I watch your gear videos as much as your things about marketing and stuff like that. But I do think there's a credibility or a relevance that stays there when you're showing that I'm going out and DJing.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out in the trailer. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
In our space, Joe, it's tough to talk DJ to DJ, peer to peer about, hey, you should use this gear, you should do this method, blah, blah, blah. How would you convince a peer that, you know what, you really should benefit, you would benefit of having a mentor? How do you have that conversation?
Because there's a pride pill, right? I mean, look, DJs, we're prideful in our work. I think we've, experienced, and we're, reaching out to do some mentoring. We've done a little MBA and Mobile Beat.
Yeah.
And we want to help people out, but convincing a DJ that, hey, swallow this pill. I mean, it took us a long time, and we were pretty successful until 2000.
But once that pill went down,
we cut Weldon that check. We're like, here, Weldon, here's our money. We're going to come to Philly and see you do your thing. But how do you convince DJs to do? I mean, you have 1,300 people in the vault. How are you convincing people like, hey, I'm going to cut you a check to give me advice?
Yeah, man. I mean, again, what I do is kind of high level sometimes in the vault. I still think that there's, just like you said, there's an importance to reaching out to a person or a company that you really want to emulate or be like or respect. You never know if they're, going to take you on or not, or if they have time. I would approach a DJ friend of mine like this. I would say, look, put your ego aside. Don't reach out to somebody in your market or anybody that even competes in your market. Nobody even near the state of New York, in your guys' example. Reach out to whatever, Redneck Joe Bun in North Carolina. Like, you never know how receptive they're going to be, and you have nothing to lose other than the ask. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten so far in life sometimes by just asking. I saw a Bentley one time on my street And I was like, can I borrow that car for a photo shoot? And he brought 2 of them. You know, it was like, I asked, how many times have I been on the news simply by sending them an email? Hey, can I come on tomorrow and talk about the Grammys, which is on tonight? Absolutely. We'd love to be at the studio at 8 o'clock. Joe Bunn DJ Company, scrolling across the screen for 5 minutes while I sit there and talk about how I've got a man crush on Timberlake or whatever weird shit I said. You know, it's like I say the dumbest things when they hit that live button and you just kind of like start to just diarrhea of the mouth. But man, I just can't tell you how important it is to reach out to somebody. And even if it's just an email exchange or a monthly phone call, like a check-in, you know, everybody's got time for that. And if they don't have time for that, man, they're not in it to help, and that's not a mentor. Right. That's just they're keeping it all too close to the chest. Move on.
So, Joe, is there a perfect time to get in for a mentor? I mean, is it like right when you start your company, or is there a check-in? Is it an annual thing? Is there a refresh?
The milestone for us was we had hit a plateau, right? I mean, we were 5 or 6 units, didn't know how big to be, you know, or how, you know, what are the milestones where it's smart to give that DJ that advice they should pick up a mentor?
I think that's a great milestone is when you've hit a plateau. You know, you've gone a couple of years and you've made X tens of thousands or hopefully hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're just like, oh, we did the same thing this year as last year, and maybe we did the same thing. What's the next level? You know, like, oh, well, we need to get into lighting, or we need to get into production, or we need 5 more DJs out on the street. You know, I think that is a great benchmark to look at, like your numbers. I mean, that's a simple QuickBooks pull, or, you know, log into DJ Event Planner or your CRM. And if you're just kind of flat from year to year to year, like, and you want to, you know, there's more out there, more meat on the bones. Absolutely. That's a great time to reach out to a mentor. If you're new, again, I mean, stuff like the Vault, there's plenty of other online education. You know, even my sister now is getting into DJing. She's 45 years old. And she said, I've taken 4 classes on DJing. She said, I've taken 4 $99 classes on DJing, like the actual act of it. And then, of course, she learns like some of the education stuff from the Vault. She logs in just like everybody else does. So, you know, that's kind of like part A of mentoring, you know, the broad stuff that everybody can reach or digest. And then you've got the, like, I want to reach out to this company owner and see if he'll help me or she'll help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are so many people that I've met at these conferences that are more than willing to help. I follow people on Instagram, you know, I see, holy shit, that guy from St. Louis is down in Florida. Like, what are they doing? Like, and you know, they're working on business, you know, they're talking about shows.
Love that.
Well, hey man, it's been a thrill for you to, you know, spin a yarn about mentoring, man, because you've always been, whether you're new or not, one of ours. So we appreciate that.
Well, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Man, you want to plug the Vault and plug where you're at?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the DJ's Vault is thedjsvault.com, and it's currently closed. But if you want to get in, just shoot me a message on Instagram, which is @JoeBunn. It's probably my favorite account. We didn't really talk about it, but I also build these really cool mobile aluminum DJ booths.
We're right there, man.
Yeah, we've been going hemming and hawing. We'll have another conversation about that offline about what our next move is on that.
I'm tearing up my white one over here, and that's bungear.com if you want to go check those out.
Love that. Well, on behalf of the industry, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Appreciate your work, and
thank you guys.
Hope
man.
to see
Thanks
you
for doing this. Thanks for doing the show.
We're going to keep you for one more segment, just so you can tell Rich and I that we're wrong about some stuff. It's a segment that we call Beats Per Minute. It is the game of competitive debate. Mickey, give me that BPM intro.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, I get the bag.
All right, hey, so it's a very special episode of BPM. We got Joe Bunn in the house. I got Carrie Klein from Flower City Nuptials over there. So what's up, Carrie?
Hey, guys.
Hey. So we've always want to make sure that when we're doing BPM that we have a wedding professional that's not a DJ. Because
of course.
We don't want to get in this echo chamber of a bunch of DJs high-fiving each other that what we think is cool is cool. We need someone to keep us grounded. Carrie is in the house to keep us grounded.
Yeah, and she has darts. So if she hears something that she doesn't like, she's going to toss some darts our way. So,
all right, so here's the rules. Mickey, the producer, is going to spin the golden wheel of death. He's going to pull out a topic. Rich and I get 1 minute each to debate that topic, and then the other one gets to go, and then the panel, you guys can tell us what you think. Mickey's scoring points when we say something intelligent. Hopefully we say something intelligent in the process of this.
Doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always
The
happen.
city of California would have to disagree.
All right. So usually whoever goes first wins this stupid thing. So hopefully the questions are set up that whoever goes first isn't always the winner. All right. So the question for Joe is live mixing a cocktail hour, waste of time or great DJ feature? Rich, you go first. You got 1 minute.
Great DJ feature. I love live mixing at cocktail hour. For me, observing the guests is a prime time, and it really starts during cocktail hour, right? So if you are interacting as far as musically and seeing what format and what genre is working, you can do more of that. You can also give them an opportunity to listen to you and see what's going on, because they're used to every other single wedding they've gone to is autoplay, the fade, maybe a little bit of a dead air, and then the next song, right? It's the Dean Martin, it's the Frank Sinatra, it's the Bruno Mars, right? But if you have live mixing and you're doing beat matching and you do just some light blends, just fun, people celebratory music, it really sets you apart, and it gets people amped up for the dance floor psychologically, which is where you want them to be.
Well, here's how we screwed up, because in all these questions, of course, the first person who gets to go gets the right answer. So of course it's good. I mean, right? I mean, of course it sets you apart. I would say this, just so I can say something intelligent besides just dumbly disagreeing with you, because of course you're right. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is there's lots of work to be done in a cocktail hour, right? So this is the time where I'm out there building rapport with a bridal party before I have to get them huddled up for an intro. I'm making sure I'm coordinating with the venue manager to make sure that we're all on the same page on things. I'm visiting with mom and dad to make sure they like me and I'm on the right page. So while, of course, you're right and you got to go first, that there are things that to be done in a cocktail hour that have value. So there might be some blend of an auto mix or whatever. So, all right, Joe, who's right?
I mean, Rich is right. However, I will say this. Am I able to do it at every event? No, because again, like Johnny said, I'm by myself and there's a lot of moving parts going around during this cocktail hour that I'm trying to get ready for. And, or for example, Saturday, this wedding is the pre-function hall is out here with a bar and a photo booth. And honestly, I may pre-mix that and put it on an iPod and stick a piece of Velcro on the back of a speaker and let it play out there in the hall. And then the main setup, introductions, dinner, dancing are going to be in this ballroom a little further down. So, and again, I'm by myself. So did I run 100-foot cable down there for nobody to even know that the DJ was playing because I'm in the ballroom A? No, I'm probably not going to do that. So I will say this, it really depends on the audience, the crowd, if I'm in the same room, so on and so forth. If you can do it, absolutely, because like Rich said, he's right. It sets the precedence for like, oh, this guy didn't come to play around. Hold on, man. This dude is actually playing cocktail music. Like did he just mix Bruno Mars into Frank Sinatra like seamlessly? And then they're all of a sudden, like, especially a younger crowd, they're like, "Oh, this guy's getting ready to just smash." When the lights go down and dinner's over, this guy's getting ready to destroy. So, Rich is right. Johnny has a good point, though, that as a single, if you're just out there solo, that you could be running around and may not have that opportunity. Yeah. And I'll make the third point that, like, if I'm not in that room, it's just I don't know that I would literally have to set up a full another controller system and everything, and I don't know that I've charged for that.
So here's the reality check: is a professional
Let's go.
Non-DJ.
The three of us all agree, and we're all
non-DJ and a female.
Even if you're a wedding guest, does it matter, or would you even notice if a DJ is live mixing a cocktail hour?
You might not notice, but you're definitely paying attention to the music at the cocktail hour. Having seen another DJ playing the Chariots of Fire instrumental mix.
How did that happen?
At a cocktail hour.
Carrie called me when that happened, by the way.
Really?
She goes, "You got to hear this. This asshole."
Yeah, I'm not even sure the bride and groom were born yet, like when that movie came out. So it was just like, it's really important to read your audience.
Knowing your audience.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
So I think what Carrie's saying, if I can surmise that, is that I'm right.
Well, I didn't hear that, but
you sound like my son.
All right. Rank these in order of importance of retaining your DJ staff, paying them better, having a setup crew set up their events for them, or making sure they have an assistant. Now, look, I would tell you this because we've been through this, and I get to go first, that the absolute game changer for retention, and we saw in this really make a huge difference, not only in retention, but in morale, is when we put together setup crews. When we have a crew that goes out, that sets up a DJ's wedding for them, and they can roll in, plug in their controller, do their thing, unplug into the night, collect a hug and a tip, and go the hell home. It's absolute game changer. And to a person that works for us, for the men and women that work for us, every single one of them said they'd rather have that than better pay.
Wow.
So at number two, I'm going to say after that, I'm going to say number two is having an assistant. Again, we went through this. We instituted assistants 10 years ago. When we did that, huge difference in retention for us. Having somebody there to just take the pressure off of them. Just sometimes you go to an event and there's an anxiety about being alone. Having an assistant to them is number two for me. I'm running out of time. And third is better pay. Everyone wants to be paid better, but those two things have paid better dividends for us. Go.
So how can you disagree with you agree with everything that you just said?
That's what I'm telling you. Going first.
Yeah,
I got to write better questions. I got to get Joe to give us
Or
some
no, the
questions
segment might have to change to who can one up the other person.
Yeah.
Right,
Like Johnny or whoever goes first.
Exactly.
You rock, paper, scissors for who goes first.
Exactly.
That person gives their point, and then the other person's like, okay, now I get to try and one up
Yeah.
you. Maybe it's the segment has to change
after
because y'all don't want to
talking-
disagree.
Yeah, because after talking with Joe, obviously he runs a successful operation. He mentioned several times that he's a single op and he doesn't have setup crews, right? But obviously, I would assume that he gets paid handsomely. So I think if you're getting, you are handsome. I think if you're getting a handsome paycheck, right, where you can have a higher amount that you're taking home at the end of the night, it makes all the stuff. An easier pill to swallow.
Sure.
I mean, but do I like it personally? No, I'd rather have that longevity where you get to enjoy the niceties of staying home longer by the pool for a couple more hours, then roll into the wedding. But I mean, just you get paid less. But I like the fact that that people are still successful of being a single op and getting paid well.
Think that there's multiple ways to do this.
Right.
We hear our way, but Joe is the most successful DJ that we know. And doesn't do any of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no assistant, there's no setup group.
Here's the I if this is the part where I prove you wrong, I would say this. Only because I've always gone out for now 36 years alone. But ironically, you guys are getting ready to there's getting ready to be an eruption of applause. I spent the last 2 days, all day, Monday and Tuesday, doing 15-minute roadie interviews.
There you go, man.
For my personal guy or a girl, whoever, probably get like 2 or 3 people because they're not going to want to work every weekend like I'm going to be working. To literally go out, set up, do the ceremony as well.
Ooh,
I roll in 15 minutes before the introductions, full suit, tie, dressed to the nines.
Right.
Not a drop of sweat is laid out.
No showers in the bathroom. No trips to the fast food joint.
No multiple shirt changes.
Yep.
I walk in cool as a damn cucumber in the hottest ass August summer day.
Yeah, man.
And I smash the intros, do the first dance, and then they can leave. As long as they don't smoke or drink, you can come back 3-4 hours, take your girl out, go to the movies. Don't care. Come back, strike this gear, and I'm walking out with my laptop, and I'll catch you the next weekend. Like,
dude, I'm telling you,
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer. And it's
I know.
funny,
Yep.
We start figuring out for us, the roadblock for it forever was figuring out the financials, right? Of how do we finance to make this thing happen?
Yep.
When we actually sat down, okay, we're going to do this and figure this out.
Sure,
dude, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, right. I'm gonna reach. Yeah, we'll circle back. That's a whole nother episode, but I'll circle back to you guys and figure out the pay structure and pay scale because I want to be able to hire this little team and to pay them well, which goes back to this whole topic. In this sense, I would have said better pay, and I thought y'all were going to actually say better pay. Because I will say I have multiple DJs that work for me now that were undervalued, underpaid, or not paid at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like my guys work on, let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They turn in what we call the invoice or the event recap at the end of the night on the back, hidden page on the website. I get the email on Monday and they get a direct deposit that night. You know what I mean? There's no bounce checks. I didn't get paid. I don't know what I made. They see the contract. They know the package that people bought. They know what the people spent. They multiply it times whatever percentage that they make, and it's around 40% if we're just being open and honest.
Yeah.
Again, they own their own gear, et cetera, et cetera. Boom. They know exactly. All you have to do, your math is as simple as this. Pull out your calculator and type whatever, $2,500 times 0.40, and that's what your deposit will be tonight. You know, and that's it. It's simple. So I've got so many DJs though that were working for other companies. Hey, so-and-so kept bouncing me checks, or hey, this guy's paying me, $25 an hour, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, no, that is unacceptable for as much work as you're doing. Like, come rock with us and I will take care of you, because I know as a DJ how hard this is and how valuable your service is.
It's funny, this could turn into a whole other episode. Write this down.
Totally.
This is an episode.
I'm soapboxing now at this point.
I want to hear from Carrie too, because when she's not officiating, occasionally she moonlights for us as an assistant. Can you even imagine, Carrie, like the weddings, the way we do them? I guess gotten so spoiled. Can you imagine one of us on our own now? We'd be lost if I didn't have somebody like you with me.
And she knows what Encore offers. Not just a typical DJ, but she knows the level of attention that we give our clients. Imagine doing that with one person.
No. There's no way.
Would I be without it?
There's no way, because I've gone to other, events where there's a typical single operator, and they're busy setting up and, going to the bathroom to change, and they're not able to give the custom attention that I know Encore does.
We pay her good, don't we? That was fucking awesome. Exactly right. Look, again, this is a great other topic, because for me at my age, advancing years I am, I think Joe and I are probably, you're a little younger than us maybe, but for me to keep DJing, I gotta have.
I'm gonna be 50 this year.
Are you 50 now?
What?
I'm gonna be 50 in September.
He looks 34.
I'm 47. I'm 47
tomorrow.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, but dude, for me, the setup crew is going to keep me DJing.
knowing your employee audience too.
That's what's going to keep me DJing. I love that part. If I can plug in, rock out.
Right. Listen, man, here's the thing. It's the same question that I get from DJs all the time. I don't know how to grow a multi-op. Are people really going to want to hire somebody besides me? And you think that wasn't hard for me to wrap my head around? Look, they don't need Joe Bunn. As long as I train this guy, he can be better than me, and I can send him out. And the next guy, and the next guy, and the next girl, and the next girl. Like, that is the hardest thing to cross that hurdle, that you got to clone yourself. You can't clone yourself, but you got to clone yourself. And it's the same for me. Like, damn, do I really want to trust somebody to go set up my gear?
Your name's on the sign.
Right.
Your name is on the sign.
And so that's why I've been so reluctant to let go of that piece of it, like, for so long. And I'm like, dude, like the guy yesterday I interviewed, absolute rock star. He was like, yeah, I've been on tour with this band, that band, that's not coming back for a while, this, that, and the other. And I was like, dude, this is really below your pay scale. Like, I'm running a couple powered speakers, couple totems, couple movers. And he was like, dude, I just want to get back out there and seeing people having a good time. And I would be honored to take this job. And I'm like,
let us know if that guy wants to move to Rochester, New York.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, last one, Nikki, spin the wheel. This is a softball. Grant goes first. He goes, all right, change my mind. Meeting a client in a public place for an initial presentation is never a good idea.
So the way you worded that is, I'm supposed to agree with that or disagree with it or stay. Well, I think it's a horrible idea.
That's all you need to say. Change my mind. Is there basically what the question is begging? Is there ever an opportunity where meeting in a public place is a good idea?
No, not at all.
That was easy. Do you need a minute?
Not unless you have a natural gas leak in your space.
Wait a minute, though. No, you. What about like the guy that's got, that doesn't have a cool space like y'all do? You know what I mean? Like, what about the newbie that's just one DJ and he's out there just grinding and he's got his gear together? Like, what's he supposed to do?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think we actually have written a presentation about this. We call it Home Field, and we gave it at MBA, or we were gonna give it at MBA this year.
Yeah,
we were supposed to give it at Mobile Beat.
Yeah, Mobile Beat. They went virtual.
We gave it virtually at Mobile Beat this year. All right.
Yeah.
So Home Field, what we're encouraging that guy to do, Joe, is to figure out something creative, right? Well, right now, I think we've all learned that Zoom or some kind of platform like that is probably still better than a Starbucks, right?
Exactly.
At least you can control it.
Yes.
You can control the volume, control the background. Whatever you can do, you can control your environment a little better. We're encouraging that dude, go make some friends, right? Like, go hit up a wedding venue where he works a lot and say, hey, can I meet a client here? Maybe they haven't picked their venue yet, or maybe it's one of their clients. I don't know, something. Do something besides Starbucks where you can't control the situation. I have a whole list of things that are better than that.
Yeah.
So
there's just too many external factors that you can't control there. What do you think, Joe?
I think that you're right that one, the guy that is just getting started or doesn't have a permanent office location has been saved by the pandemic because Zoom is the standard now, is the industry standard. He can get away with Zoom, throw up a nice backdrop, make sure there's no clothes hanging in the background, green screen, whatever you want to do. That guy's been saved. When the world reopens, that same guy, girl, can do these consultations, but it does not need to be at Barnes & Noble, Starbucks with a barista going absolutely bonkers, you know, making some kind of a blended beverage or frappuccino, whatever's happening back there is so loud. But now this new DJ, Ricky, has sort of built some relationships, some inroads, and can have it at the Hilton in their little boardroom.
Yeah, exactly right.
The Merriman Wynn House right down the road from here that has a gorgeous carriage house, or on the front porch on a spring day like today. Like, you have these opportunities to meet in public, but do it at a place that is not loud, crowded. Hey, are you Karen? No, you're not Karen. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, where you're like trying to pick out your client, like that those days need to be gone.
Thank you.
Agreed
Carrie,
with y'all.
Thank you.
Where do
Thank
you
you.
meet with people? What's your space like?
So actually, interestingly enough, I do meet with people in a loud Starbucks, but you know, I'm a one person, you know, well, now I'm a 2-person operation, and
Congratulations.
And thank you. And you know, we don't have really an office at this point, but now I think hearing your points, you know, post pandemic, hopefully soon rather than later, I think I'm gonna have to be looking for a place.
Jeez, Carrie, if only you worked part-time for a DJ company with a dope office that you could meet people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. If
Seriously.
only.
I know.
If only you did.
If only.
Yeah.
All right. So that was BPM. Mickey, at some point, post-production is going to tally up the
Tally it
scores.
Thankful Carrie didn't throw any darts.
Carrie didn't throw
I didn't see
anything.
her do
won.
anything. No, like waving
I
hand
won.
or.
Our hero didn't tell us we were stupid, which we appreciate.
No, there was no stupidity in that segment.
Very good. All right. Hey,
Appreciate
I think not only is that the end of the segment, that's the end of this episode of The Real DJ Show. Once again, we could not be more thrilled to have Joe with us.
Definitely.
Joe, thanks for hanging out with us.
Man,
It's safe
thanks
to
for
say
having
that
me,
you'll be
guys. This
back.
was a lot of fun. This was. I'll come back whenever.
Love it.
We can make it this a quarterly segment.
I love
down.
this. And
Down
if
with
there's
that.
anything else we can do for you, please reach out.
To your mouth, to our ears. We just wrote that down. That's a verbal contract. All right.
Now we've locked in a quarterly show.
Love
I heard it. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Keep doing your
Appreciate
thing.
y'all. Thank you.
Hey, thank all you guys for hanging out for The Real DJ Show. You're about to hear a pre-recorded segment of me telling you where to find us.
Until next time, everybody.
See ya.
But before you go, a short tale from Mickey, the producer. It was the summer of our Lord 2013, and our story's hero, the brave and true-hearted DJ, whom for the purposes of this story we shall call Jay, was setting up his equipment in a magical place called the Rochester Yacht Club. Our hero's soul was at ease as he anticipated this to be a peaceful and relatively unsurprising wedding reception. The wedding couple were older and, by experience with them to this point, more mild-tempered than one might expect to be the average for newlyweds preparing for their matrimonial celebration. In fact, the bride was an unassuming corporate accountant and her groom a mature and civically responsible officer of the law. While pleasant and good-spirited, our hero was unharried by any thoughts of unmanageable revelry until the first notion of the night's vexations came by a phone call from our hero's close acquaintance and common reception partner, the notable photographer we shall call Jack. Jay could immediately tell from Jack's tone that something was amiss. Jack, in an uncommon state of anxiousness, prepared Jay for what was to come. "Jay, listen," Jack exclaimed. The bride has canceled all the stops to take pictures and has just wanted to stop at bars and do shots. It was impossible to miss Jack's implications of impending doom. I haven't taken one formal picture and she can barely stand up. Jay's once permeated feeling of peace was dashed. He mentally prepared himself for what was to come. When the bride arrived, she was instantly dashed into the washroom by her court of maids. Cover stories were circulated that she was feeling dehydrated and needed to freshen up before the event's formalities. The sounds of retching and heaving belied those tales. Timelines were delayed, plans changed, but eventually the bride found enough fortitude to allow herself to be poured into her chair and propped up for the meal. The meal seemed to soak up some of the night's tribulation, and the bride found her legs and some spirit. Enough spirit, at least, to begin haranguing the waitstaff for any perceived misstep, and Jack the photographer anytime he was not taking a picture. Luckily for our hero, the DJ, the bride's inebriated state only enhanced her affinity for him, and for this, he was glad. After another bout of, forgive my coarseness, puke and rally, the bride eventually found both a second win and a perception that her dancing ability was elevated to legendary status. As the bride seemingly was not dissuaded by her current intoxication to refuse any alcohol presented to her, wagers were made amongst the vendor team as to when she would lose consciousness. The prevailing opinion was soon. Impressively, the bride managed to maintain an upright, if tilted, posture as the event neared its climax, the last dance of the night. As the guests circled around the bride and groom to share in the waning moments of the celebration, an undetermined yet palpable commotion arose at the center of the circle of guests. From their vantage point behind the circle, our heroes Jack and Jay could not ascertain the cause of the tumult, but bridesmaids could be seen running, venue staff being beckoned, and the bride being swiftly ushered from the room. Jack and his camera went to investigate to be able to report back to Jay, but there was no need. Before Jack returned, the smell had arrived. The realization of what had happened descended upon our heroes like a tidal wave of dread. The bride had herself. In the middle of the dance floor, during the last dance, the bride herself. The feeling of panic, the hustle of the waitstaff, and the scent of bleach all arrived in unison upon the impossible-to-be-believed scene. With no great option at her disposal, the bride had locked herself into a nearby supply closet and refused anyone entry. With a calmness only achieved through years of crisis management befitting his position as an officer of the law, the groom apologized, offered the story that the bride had cut her foot on glass and was too embarrassed to greet her guests as they left and bid a fond farewell. And for us who have been told the story, the legend of the Poop Bride was born and shall never be forgotten. We will see you all next time on Storytime with Mickey the producer.
All right, that's it for us. Another episode of The Real DJ Show is in the books. We want you along every time, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the little bell so you get notifications of all of our new content. We know you're DJs and have a lot to say, so jump in the comment section to join the debate. If you have content suggestions or you want your DJ company featured on The One Thing, email us at TheRealDJShow@rochesterdj.com. Lastly, if you're sick enough that you want to take the audio of this with you wherever you go, you can find the audio everywhere quality podcasts are found. All right, that's it for us. Show's over, bitches.